All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 169 of the RGT podcast. It has been a minute, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a minute, as you guys know. It hasn't really been a crazy news week. We've been getting bits and pieces there, but a lot of news to go over, surprisingly, in this very uneventful type of week. And I'm very excited for today's show, man. Let me tell you. Y'all already know, man, as much as we cover gaming on here, I like to watch the shows, you guys. We stream the events, and I'm actually a big fan of this individual who is here with us today. We're here with Kate Yeager. Now, you might remember this lady from Inside Xbox, all the cool shows from Microsoft, and her personality just speaks for itself. And I was like, you know what? I got to talk to her. And when she hit me up, when she got back to me, for the show, I was like, yep. It's time. It's definitely time to talk. So we're going to make that moment happen. And we definitely are here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I will shout you guys out in a second. I'm here with Blaze 4K. What's up, Blaze? But without further ado, our special guest here. We're here with the one and only Kate Yeager. How are you, Kate?
Oh my gosh, I'm great. That was the introduction of my life. I have no words, and thank you very much for humbling me at this exact moment. Excited to be here, chatting, talking games.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on, especially short notice. It felt like we set that up in like record times. I was like, it's going.
How short was it?
Like, less than a week?
I was gonna say, you got the sweet spot. I'll say that, because we just started ALGS last week. We are like I'm a full-time freelance for Xbox. I'm not sure I'm assuming people know that, but and we're sort of in between big beats right now. And then I've also got a writing company where I source and supply writing support and writers to various events across the world, mostly digital right now. And you literally, I don't know, your timing was just like spot on, because I was like, well, yeah, I do have that available. What are the odds? So here we are. So excited to talk.
Yeah, I took some notes from a friend. He was like, you got to have a schedule. You have to legit schedule a lot of things. I was like, you know what? Let me just wait. And I was like, you know what? Perfect. We set this up, and when we're here. So it's about to be a great show. I can't wait to get into this. Shout out to the chat. What's up, Hustle? Samurai Beast Warrior. We got Crispy Bomb. What's going on? Man with a Plan. Got one of our channel members, Damien. What's up, brother? SS9. Dark Queen Gaming. Shout out to everybody for the support. I appreciate you. Suffer So Proud with the $5 super chat. He says, what's up, Brian? Good to see you, chat. Good to see you. Shout out to him. We have Dark Queen Gaming, one of our channel members for 8 months, and thank you for your support since I lost my husband. Shout out to you. Hustle and Motivate with another one. He says, you always have awesome guests. Proud of you, brothers. Salute to you, sir. TX Gamer and Dewan Thompson. What's going on? Get Smoked, Muck. Everybody. Shout out to you. Whew. It's a mouthful. Let's get to the show.
This is what happens. This is your fault when you get support from some great community members. Like, that's on you.
Oh, yeah.
That's on you both, okay?
So let's start with Kate here.
Yeah.
Obviously she opened up. She's a freelance Xbox, so Xbox supporter. So we have to be very we have to be on our guard. We're at Xbox. We're PlayStation guys, so we have to. Really look at
a lot of problems, a lot of tension.
Oh man,
here.
We got problems.
Oh, there's so much tension. Can I just stop this right here? Let me just tell you, if Phil Spencer was here, head of Xbox, he would say, "Listen, it's a great time to be a gamer. I don't care what console you're on, no matter what console you're on, I should say." And honestly, like, there are some great IP that PlayStation has that I love, that I missed, because I was telling you all before we got on that I gave away my PlayStation 4, the last one that I had. Mm-hmm. That one's on me. And I'm primarily Xbox. I got a Switch, and PC, of course. But, like, let's be clear. PlayStation, incredible IP. Fantastic. I said earlier, like, let's talk about Horizon Zero Dawn, too. Like, that's a reason to get a PlayStation for me. So, like, I'm there.
So you're
but
already
like,
sold in. Yeah, you're locked in.
I'm there. Like, I get it. It's cool. And I think if the PlayStation 5 was any easier to get, I'd probably definitely be in. But as it turns out, to be honest, and this is going to sound kind of weird, but because we talk about that buzzword of the console wars, it's funny because I think there's a lot of foot soldiers that are in community forums and comments and stuff that are taking on that war. I would let it go, because the reality is that there's so many games out there, and that is the best part of the gaming industry, is that, like I said, no matter what console you're on, like you just the bevy of games is out of control. I get excited and like a little teary-eyed when I talk about it, because it's
definitely
something
come
that
full circle in
right?
the long run. Yeah, has definitely. It's a lot.
I mean,
to
I
it.
was gonna ask you. You both are aficionados. You both are in the scene in a real way. I'm curious, but let's start with you. I'm just curious, like, what is your take on a console war type of appeal? I mean, do you take up arms? What is your thinking there? I'm curious.
For the console war and per se, funny thing is, before we got to here with Big Clout, my channel name was Ryan the Professional, and I guess you could say I was unprofessional back in the day, because I literally used to get into console wars heavy. I can tell you, after experiencing going through it and seeing just how people act, like I had people say flat out they're gonna quit gaming if Horizon goes to PC, and then as soon as it goes to PC, and this is where I want you to really listen, it goes to PC, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm done with PlayStation. But then Sony announces the show, I'm hyped for the show. It's like switches that turn on and off. It's like, okay, so what you're establishing is you're not going to do what you say you're going to do. You're not a man your word.
Yeah.
What you're saying is all it takes is one thing to take your attention off of said thing. So when you're bred type of that, like, well, not even bred, right? When you're trained, kind of like a attack dog in a sense like that, right? Where they throw subtle cues at you to snap you out of it and get you to look back here, that's when you know you're kind of caught and you're not really making any type of difference whatsoever. I say this all the time. Like, a lot of people focus on the wrong side. Like, for example, a PlayStation-centric channel that doesn't talk about PlayStation. It talks about Xbox. That's not really a PlayStation channel to me. That's really an Xbox channel with an identity crisis. Now, if you're a PlayStation channel focused on PlayStation, obviously that's a different thing. But if you have to bash the other to get a point across, it kind of devalues the message.
Defeats the purpose.
Yeah, it really does. We've seen people, like Blaze would tell you, there are people who you think you got them figured out, right? They're 1 week one way, and then they turn into clout chasing the next, and it just becomes something different. So the console wars, in my opinion,
Big Cloud.
Attention
is the biggest
drug,
the biggest high a lot of people can get, and it's like it's tough, but you can use that attention and provide positive vibes with that. But some people take it and they do the wrong thing. It's like almost like you having superpowers, but instead of saving the world, you're blowing everything up. It's like the same concept. But console wars, Big Cloud, that's on point. Listen, I can get messy sometimes on Twitter. I admit, I apologize.
Right,
sometimes
it's jokes.
But you know what? At the end of the day, I'm in the a lot of these PlayStation guys are not in the Halo Insider program. I've been playing Halo Infinite since the alpha came out. So I'm excited for Forza Horizon. I own multiple Xboxes. I own 1,000 controllers. So it's like I prefer the IPs from PlayStation. That doesn't mean I don't like the IPs from Xbox. I just that's it. And I think there's enough for everybody. And what you said about Phil Spencer, I really truly believe that about Phil Spencer. I think he just wants people to chill out and play games. I really do believe that about him.
Yeah.
Well, and I'll say this. So obviously I'm friendly with Phil, and we're not like BFFs or anything. But I will tell you that on numerous occasions, what I know of Phil himself is that he is like the biggest community member ever. He's the guy that's on the forums at 4 a.m. He's, you know what I mean? He's the guy that's that's grinding
Very
through.
vocal.
I believe that.
X,
Very
Y,
vocal.
yeah, that's the best part. And so for me, when there's like, especially now, when gaming can be so toxic in some ways, and the culture and everything we've seen through, I mean, God, I you know what, I'm not even gonna go there, because we all know the stories, we all know the lawsuits, we all 100% get it, but like. It is so cool to have somebody who started at Microsoft, worked his way up through it, and now is genuinely one of its biggest fans that also happens to run it. So I loved we've got some. I mean, as we come around here, you know, Xbox turning 20, coming up in. Oh gosh, in November. It's coming up so soon, which makes me feel like the oldest person ever. But I will say that it's going to be a really interesting time, and it already has for some of us working on some of the internal stuff of like reflecting where we've been to where we're going. It's awesome. Trust me, there's some cool stuff in the works coming for the 20th anniversary.
That's what I want for Microsoft personally. I want them to be more in the conversation, not necessarily like they are with the community. I'm talking about in terms of like when certain game announcements, like for example, Sony announced the Spider-Man 2. I would love Microsoft to be in the conversation with a DC game of their own or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we got our own, you know, equivalent to you, and we're in the superhero genre. You got Uncharted, cool. We got our own variant. I mean, they got Indiana Jones coming out for the Xbox, right? So
we've got a couple of Marvel, I think, but it's not. I don't think it's.
It's not the level, right? It's not
Guardians. It's not. It's a cross console.
Yeah. And that's kind of where, you know what I'm saying? It's like, certain announcements, I get their intentions, but they fall flat.
But Microsoft has made a valid effort to you know, people think, you know, it might look like they're backing up their money truck and buying everybody up, all the developers, but at the end of the day, they made an effort to buy developers and have more games coming out. You know, because look at Naughty Dog. As much as I love them, you know, they're like Rockstar now. Every 6 years you get a game. It's like, and they're awesome games, but you're waiting so long for them. Yeah. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see. I think Microsoft, like I said, they drop a couple good IPs. Halo comes out, it's going to get received well. Forza is always going to be received well. And then once the other ones come out, the Avowals and all those Starfields, then you'll start to see things shift a little bit, and it'll be more of a good competition.
It'll be a better conversation than what we're getting. Yeah. Right now, it's one side. It's like, well, PlayStation has this. You're waiting until I'm hearing good things about Hellblade. I platinumed the first one, so fingers crossed for Hellblade.
Games are games, man. Just play the games.
Games are games. I love it. Yeah, absolutely. And I will say, like, I fully understand the console. The reality is that the best part about all of this is that these next-gen consoles, whether it's the PS5 or the Xbox Series X or X, it's like that immersiveness, which we all go for. Let's be clear. We're here because, you said it right, Blaze. It's like we're here for the games, and more importantly, we're here for whatever game we can that can immerse us in a world for, 3 hours, 4 hours, 7 hours if you're sometimes like me. And so I'm with you completely. Let's immerse ourselves. Let's go for it.
Yeah, I agree. Gotta ask you,
so much
Kate.
love here, by the way. So much love. Continue. Sorry.
What? We're welcome.
I love it. I love it. So much love. I'm having it.
I need you to get into this right here. I need to see that ASAP.
But I can't see Demon Souls.
Demon Souls.
Oh,
that's rough. That's rough if you're not used to it. If you're not used to it.
It's, you know what, here's my thing. And actually, so I know that there's always the question, and with me in particular, I think, because not just because I'm a lady, but also because I have varying tastes. And no one's ever seen me play multiplayer like Halo. No one's ever seen me really throw down with the Lancer, although I can. Not great, but anyway.
Don't you play Apex?
I do, and that's what I was gonna say. So for me, from a hardcore gaming standpoint, it's hard to call myself a hardcore gamer, I think. Well, for one thing, we can't swear on this, can we? No.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. You can speak your mind.
So here, I'll say it. My dexterity is shit. Here's the thing. I've worked off and on within and outside Microsoft and Xbox for 10 years, more than 10 years. The dexterity is just, my first person shooter dexterity, and I'm so terribly competitive. So luckily for me, Apex has helped me out a bit with that solo queuing and whatnot, because those lobbies can be a little toxic. But I will say that, like, for me, I'm the kind of person who, like, we go back to that immersive world stuff. I love a good narrator. I love a good, campaign. Like, I eat that up. I mean,
So,
I'm crying when yeah.
Did you play Detroit? I want to add on to that. You remember that game, Detroit Become Human?
I do
Did you
remember
play
Detroit.
that?
No, Detroit Become Human. No, I didn't.
Ah,
I didn't.
man.
I am so sorry. I feel like I'm gonna be letting you down with my less than hardcore gaminess.
I was
But
like, that's narrative at its finest. It's perfect.
I love it. It's me. But it's the truth, you know. It's
I didn't play that either. Don't feel bad.
Nah, man, it's fire.
I play plenty of other things, but yeah, no, Detroit. I definitely have heard of, and it's hard not to be sort of like aware of all of these things as they come around. And you know, with Xbox Game Pass, which by the way, I sort of feel like I'm giving a commercial. I'm not, but with Game Pass, you can just go in and be like, okay, well, I guess I'll try 4 different games that I've never tried before, just cause. So,
Do you feel that place?
Yeah.
You know, like you're saying, oh, I love a narrative game, but like,
Yep.
because when it comes to Microsoft, they have way more multiplayer experiences. Whether it's
They
Forza,
do.
the Halo, Gears, it's more of a multiplayer co-op based, right? PlayStation's more like, here, play your single player game, enjoy it.
Yeah.
So do you think one needs more of the other, or because people say the PlayStation narrative, third person single player game, then they say the Xbox, a bunch of multiplayer. You know, it's interesting to find out what people really enjoy, what they like.
It's you just nailed it. It's a great question, because the thing is that for me, like I said, like we take like Horizon Zero Dawn as a great example. That's an IP that is just that is like, I'm maybe not the best at first person shooters, but that is something where I will make an exception, because that is an immersive experience that tells a story that I cannot get enough of. But in terms of like the multiplayer, like here's the thing, I think what multiplayer isn't just in those lobbies. They aren't just a way to immerse yourself in the gameplay. They're a way to connect with everybody. And I feel like that's the vibe that comes with, like, you know, these Xbox multiplayer experiences. And you're not wrong. And truth be told, actually, I actually really like Forza Horizon, the entire Forza Motorsport series, the Forza Horizon 5, Forza, well, I haven't played that one yet, obviously, but 1 through 4, like, it's out of control. So I do like that kind of a multiplayer experience. I think it's just more the fragging. It's the first person shooter stuff. And for me, I'm a huge fan of, for obvious reasons, Apex Legends, because you know, you have there's so much other things going on. Of course, you have to be able to aim. Of course, you have to be able to shoot. Of course, you know, but there's rat strategies. There's, you know, ways to utilize your ultimate. Like, there are other
your
aspects.
Abilities, your shields. Oh my god, yeah.
And that's a story in and of itself. And, you know, I think so. I guess I don't know if I answered your question correctly. I feel like I've gone on a tangent because I see. Here's the truth. The truth is, I don't, like, a lot of my friends and family are not gamer centric people. They're not gaming like every night. They're not doing that thing. So when I come in contact with like you guys, I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, let's talk about this, because this is excellent. And yeah, so I get a little verklempt. So anyway, apologies. I don't think I answered your question, but if you have another one, let me know.
No, you said my answer. You're right. None of my friends really play. I bought Call of Duty. Dudes, they're awesome. Good job.
Really?
Yeah, but they don't
do
play
you guys?
games,
Do you guys, your friends and family, are they not like super
I
into
got
it?
a
Do
couple
you guys find
cousins.
stylists?
They're mostly
they
into
play a
COD.
couple games here and there.
They play.
That's it.
Me and Blaze,
This
we
one-
mostly
Discord's
into
great.
Rogue. Yeah, we play Rogue a lot. I don't know if you ever play
Rogue Company.
Oh!
You have to try Rogue Company.
I should try Rogue Company. Yeah, it's I have not tried Rogue Company. I'm aware of
They've
it
got
for
cool,
sure.
unique characters. It's free to play.
Love
You
it.
know, I don't know why I like
love
the game.
free
I
to
don't
play
know.
games.
And it's hero based. You know, you got ability.
I like that.
It's gotten a lot cooler.
I'm down for
We
that.
played it from the, like, back when it was rough. There's like character customization, the menu, all that stuff. Now it's like, it's got like this esports type of vibe to it now, with how quick and seamless they made everything. It's really, really good.
Really fascinating.
Very
I will say
team-oriented.
that I will say that's such an interesting place as well when you talk about gaming and you think about esports and how the developers look at like that translation, because there's so much that goes into obviously developing these key titles, but like what makes, and I feel bad because I'm like, I know you guys are asking me questions, but I'm so curious to know
it's
from
fine.
your
It's open.
perspective.
Look at she's taking over the show.
I
I'm
know,
so
it's
sorry.
open. No, I love
It's
her.
an
I love
occupational
it. This is why I said I love
Okay,
this
gang.
woman.
No, I know.
She's good. She's well spoken. I love
No,
her.
let her do it. I like her.
I
asking
love her.
questions. She's good.
She's
You're
great.
made for this, Kate. Do
She's
it. You're
perfect.
made for it.
I'll
You're
take
built
it.
for it.
I'll take it. I
That's
love
why I'm
this.
mad.
Thank you very much.
I don't see you more. Like, I'd be questioning. Like, I had one to question. I was like, you know, Kate, did you ever want to host a PlayStation event? Because I'm like, I need to see more Kate. Like, where's Kate at for these shows?
I would love to. I don't think they would ever choose me, which is totally fair. But I would never. I hate to say it. I would be down, but of course no. But I was going to ask, when it comes down to the translation of a game that you love and then going into it, like creating that in an esport, right? Yeah. I feel like, for example, like CSGO 1.6, that was made for esports even before it was a thing. Like that was from its inception. What is a game that you would love to see made into an esport that isn't currently and isn't Rogue Company? I'm going to ask Blaze, you start.
Ooh.
I just love this question. That's not an esport currently, but you would want to, even if it doesn't make a lot of sense, like whatever. But I would love to. I'd be so curious to know.
You know what?
What you got, boys?
It's totally random, and people like, but Dark Souls PvP is so.
No, really?
Yeah. It's so sweaty. It's so sweaty.
Yeah.
And toxic. But I feel like it has all the competition juices. Like people really take that to heart. They come because you can make your own build. It's your own design. You mix and match armor and pieces, and I feel like, I think Chivalry's doing something like that too, which is an awesome game. But yeah, it's tough to say. Like I wouldn't mind any of those games. A little, even like we played this mini golf game. What's it called? Golf with friends like that. Dude, we get 20 people in that. That thing gets intense. We're cussing at each other like. Oh my lord!
Dudes get drunk.
Yeah, because everybody
throw
thinks
each other off. It's hilarious. We just have too much fun.
Yeah, but esports, you think of it has to be a first-person shooter or a sports game. Like that's it, and it really shouldn't be that way. It should be everything, really. Anything that's competitive, I feel like should have a shot. So,
yeah, Ryan.
What do you think? What do you think of Respawn? By the way, that made Apex, that came out with Titanfall 2, and then comes out with this game Apex Legends out of nowhere, and it's blowing up. Like Apex is super out of there now. Is it?
I will. You know what? The amount of, and so obviously the amount of what's the right word? Creativity, quite honestly, that goes into not just the building of these maps, which people can say what they want about various maps. People like them, they don't. Kings Canyon, World's Edge, got it. But the thing is that the people, I love reminding people how many bodies, how many brains it takes to create something that you use to hide behind in a firefight. For Respawn, they did an incredible job with the Legends. I also really like that they're, this. I don't mean to just make this sound political or anything like that or whatever, but like they've also done a really good job of being like inclusive to everybody. I mean,
diverse,
literally
diverse.
They showcase some incredible like backstory and lore and that's what, to be honest with you, like we talk about like games we wish were esports. I would love Apex to have like a whole campaign. Like I want them to go like I know we obviously have events and things. We just had one for Bloodhound, I think it was, and like I would eat up that lore if it was a part of like its own standalone campaign. It would be out of control where you'd have to play like it would be like, I think of it as more the way that Marvel took on the Avengers. Yeah. Right? And so you have to know how to wield the hammer and to use exactly. So you have to use all of them, and that's that. There's such a So anyway,
you get the backstory and the origin towards all these.
Right?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
You don't pull a Batman v Superman.
Hot take. I would also love that if that was like Overwatch. I'd like Overwatch League. I'd take that. I'd take that in a heartbeat. Anyway, that's my thing. To
answer your the question on the esports thing. Personally, I love factions. I played that so much on the PS3 and 4. I would love an esports, like especially with the new mechanics that was added with Last of Us 2. I would love an esports type of.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That is.
What is factions? Help me out here.
Factions is the multiplayer for Last of Us. It was very slow paced. Yeah, it was very slow paced in the PS3 and 4. because the game is slow paced. You do that little crab wall type of thing. However, they added a lot of cool mechanics in the sequel. It's very fast. It's a lot of cool mechanics. Dodging is a big thing.
Parkour.
Newer. Oh yeah, a lot of cool different things you can craft, better weapons. I think personally, with like an esports team, that can be really, really big. That can be like they're counted to Gears in a sense, or multiplayer, if done right. With gore.
Interesting.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't think about that. They really mastered the gore. Like, regardless of how people might feel, especially me, on the story of Last of Us 2, one thing
Last
they
of Us has a
nailed
lot of
is
gore.
nailed.
Yes, it does.
The gore is nailed. And it's a lot of cool things they can do with that. Especially exploding.
Gears got gore, though, for days, too.
Oh, that is true.
You got too much.
Anytime you can use a lancer to literally saw
someone
through
up.
the middle of a like, just yummy. I was gonna ask actually. So there's something else that came to mind earlier. And again, apologies for going off the rails, but I'm gonna go with this anyway.
We have fun with this.
I appreciate that. So there and I know that there is like, I'm so torn about mobile gaming because because especially now with xCloud and literally using your phone to play that which is in the cloud on your Game Pass. But we've all mapped our controllers. We've got the mouse and keyboard. Like that's the thing. What do you guys think? And maybe Ryan, we'll start with you. But like, what do you guys think in terms of mobile gaming? And because I obviously. Yeah, well, where are you playing it, or is this something that like you're really into? Like I'm curious about that, especially as it comes down to like we've had a bunch of like COD just did a whole esports mobile campaign, right?
Mm-hmm. So the whole thing, like when we first saw with like let's say just a controller, the little device and the little phone on there, I thought that was a little impractical. I didn't really look at that.
You're like, why would you?
Right. But now we have a solution, and it comes out in December. It's called a Steam Deck. Steam Deck is literally, it's like a godsend to everybody at this point. It's got all the features, all the bells and whistles, including Discord. It's got your games on there. You can run your emulators. You can run whatever you want and play them. Sure. And you have the bells and whistles of a PS5 and Series X with the SSD, the M.2s. So you have
gotta love Steam, by the way. Gotta love Steam.
Like they went all out. I appreciate them. And it's like they did this before Nintendo even considered doing something like this, and many people said it was impossible. Yet here this thing is for $50 more. You got a better screen, more power,
got a stronger,
more features. You got it all. Personally, I wasn't really like keen on the whole mobile thing because I was like, how are we going to really make that work? But now we have a legit competitor. And the funny thing is, it doesn't just work with Xbox games, right? It works on PlayStation games as well that are on Steam. So therefore, you have an option, a viable option right there that can play whatever you want. And the cool thing is, you can dock it like a Switch. Never lose your progress. Transfer stuff over. You literally are just in a loop. You're in this. You're in a.
See,
cool
Big
thing
Cloud
here.
just pulled the Kate. Big Cloud just pulled the Kate Yeager and just. You talk. Tell me about mobile gaming. He's like, yeah, Steam Deck. No, I said mobile gaming. Big Cloud. She's thinking. When I think her question seems to me like more of like using like xCloud or using or playing like games like COD Mobile or Fortnite on your phone.
I love that. But I will say this: Ryan just sold me. Yeah. Ryan just sold me, so I don't know who is not paying you. Yeah, who is not paying you from Steam? But Steam needs to start paying you right now.
You need a Steam Deck at this point. There's no ifs or buts about this.
You can play Apex in your bed, Kate. Just sitting there like.
There you go.
Truth be told, you guys don't see. So this is my office / bed, and what you don't see off camera is that I have a Switch, which I play on my deck sometimes, and I do play Apex on it. But I also have my Xbox One, my Xbox Series S, which I take when visiting family because.
Shout out to you. You actually play yours. A lot of people don't play yours.
I got it specifically for. No, that's fair. I get you. That's completely. By the way, side note. If I can be completely transparent, and people don't know this, I ended up buying my Series S off of eBay. A really cool guy, nice seller. He's awesome. But that's where I had to go to even get one. So I very much understand people's plight. Yep, it's what it is. I wanted it.
Wait,
I wanted it, and
Wait, you have an S and an X?
No, just an S. Oh, an S here. I have an X up at the studio.
So, did you get anything from Microsoft?
Uh-oh.
Paychecks? Does that count?
Oh man.
I have a lot of really great T-shirts and stuff. No, and the thing is that games are always readily available. There's no problem there. But I think that just what it does. And part of the reason I was asking about mobile gaming and Blaze, you nailed it. I did want to know more about that, and I am going to ask you about that in a second. But part of the reason I was curious is that in a world where, especially how COVID has really taken down those supply chains. The supply and demand is just savage, right? Even now, it's still bad. And so in that kind of a world where you have the cloud and you have those titles, what does that look like? Is that look like people are waiting longer? I couldn't even get one from the company that I work for because of the supply and demand scenario. It was just so stacked. So
that's crazy.
Curious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The whole cloud thing. Look.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like Debbie Downer, but I listen. Mobile games are for the toilet and for the dentist's office and for,
Yeah.
And then it's
No, it's fair.
okay, xCloud. Okay, I would deal with xCloud maybe on an iPad or even on my phone, but I need physical buttons. But I know they have little attachments from Razer that you can click on and it has a controller and click. So, but I could do something like that. But if I'm gonna play a game, I'm just gonna play on my,
Yeah, why go for a smaller experience when you can enjoy the big thing?
But it's not even that. It's just if you're out of the house, it's usually you're doing something. You're busy. You're going somewhere to wherever you're going to. So it's when I play a game, I want to be able to just sit and just play. I'm maybe for a younger audience. For a younger audience, it makes total sense. They're at school. They're on lunch break. They're showing their friends. But for an older person like me, I don't see it being feasible for me.
I get it. No, and that's the thing. You're absolutely right. It's a cultural situation. I mean, I cannot argue with that at all.
PlayStation Now's mobile streaming left just a great taste in my mouth. Not really. Pretty bad. So yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. I totally get you. I think, and it's one of those things where I feel and especially in some of when we talk about esports in the mobile gaming division, there's a lot going on in places like India, in mainland China, in some of these places where some of India specifically, where the infrastructure isn't necessarily there to support high speed connection in that way that you might need for a console or a high speed PC. Yeah. Speaking of, by the way, side note. Did you know that I've got a Alienware? I can't remember what the thing is. Yep, that's fair. That's fine. I totally get it. But it looked pretty. It's 3080.
That's what they're for. The aesthetic.
I was okay with it, but you know what's weird?
You paying for
aesthetics. Yeah, I do. You know what? Here's the thing. It's true. I won't disagree, but I will say that. One of the random little notes that I got, things I had to end up, I got my specs and I went to the Dell website to buy it. And I live in California and they wouldn't sell it to me because it took too much power. Which I know that's I'm sure other people have had to deal with that, but there's 4 or 5 different states that they will not sell you a certain spec of PC because of the exactly.
Wow.
Which by the way then all you do is you go to Reddit and you're like, how do I get this anyway? And quite frankly, I think I paid a few $100s more and I found it, so it's fine. But sorry, Dell.
You got a 3080. That's a beast card.
I know.
You got no problem running anything. Nice.
No. Anyway, so sorry. Side note. Hey, listen, let's be clear, by the way. These graphics cards are crazy. Especially we talk about so we've been doing, obviously everybody knows our 20th anniversary, Xbox's 20th anniversary, I should say, it comes out here in November. And it's an interesting, as I mentioned, it's sort of been taking a trip down memory lane, right? It's when you get all these events together and stuff like that, it's hard not to. And it is fascinating, absolutely fascinating to go back and rewatch original Xbox titles, even the original Psychonauts or you know, like obviously Halo for one, but like it's just so fascinating to see what we thought was cutting edge, which is totally fair. But like now, there was so many leaps in between generations of console in terms of fidelity, right, and some of these incredible frame rates. But now I'm like, now it's like, how do I harness this in a beautiful monitor situation to like really showcase what this can do? And it's basically, I'm curious, like what graphics card number, what rate, like where are you where you can see a noticeable difference? And maybe you two can, because I feel like of all people, you guys have like that detail oriented knowledge. Well, but I'm just curious.
It's easy for console gamers, especially when like if you go back to last year, how dudes were saying 30 FPS, right? Kate, 30 FPS is the way, because it's filmic versus 60, and everybody was like, once you go 60, you don't go back. They're like, no, 30 works for everything, especially open world. I'm like, okay, wait till we get to these better consoles. And as you see, they're like, yo, I can tell different. We're in 100 plus, but 60, they noticed that. So it's easier for console gamers to notice that, especially when it comes to response time and frame drops, especially frame drops. In games, you definitely notice. When it comes to the visual aspect, though, 1080p versus 1440, actually, 1440, maybe 1800, you really do see a difference. A lot of people might not at some cases, especially if they've been gaming in 4K for a while, but really you do see the difference at 1440, especially 1800, especially when you turn certain things up in these games. You do notice the difference. So that's where I'm at. I don't know.
I think that's cute. You got a 3070, she's got a 3080, and you guys are all beneath me at the end of the day.
What are you rocking? What do you got?
Man,
I got a 90. I got to be the kid. But no,
hey, Kate, you want to hear something funny? He buys a whole new PC. So you want to bring this 3090 up? He buys a whole new pre-built PC instead of just taking out the damn graphics card and getting the damn 3090, putting 3090 in. Guys like me who just takes the 30, his 1070 out.
I'm not touching the computer. I don't want to do it.
I don't want to hear that. You spend almost $4,000 on a damn pre-built. For a damn 3090.
Listen, graphics cards are everything's. You can't find anything. PlayStations, Xboxes, graphics cards. Like what she said about. No, but what she said about. Do you see that? Like, I think the majority of people that play on a PS4 Pro at the time or Xbox One X, and they had like 1440p or dynamic resolution, they can't difference between like checkerboard 4K and native 4K. I can tell the difference because I've been looking for this type of stuff. My eyes almost like trained to see like a native 4K picture. You can see it just sharper. You look at a dynamic res, it's a little duller. It's just not as sharp, doesn't pop. But for the majority of casual gamers out there, if it's dynamic res or if it's 1440 or 4K, I don't think they can really differ. I mean, maybe on a bigger screen, but I think they're just happy with what they got.
Definitely depends on the display.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Agreed.
And then PC gamers, I want to say this. You were talking about the 30 FPS and the 60. Like I remember, a 60 FPS and blah blah blah. And then when I finally had a 60 FPS graphics card, my 1070 a long time ago, and the PS5. They're like, oh well, once you go 120, you can never go back to 60. I'm like, what the. So it's always changing. 60 is not good enough now. It's 120, and then 240. It's just.
You're absolutely right. You know what? And isn't that the nature of the tech industry in general? Like, gaming for sure, but like tech in general. Like,
you're up to date. Boom, you're not.
You're like, oh, that was fun. That was a nice 6 months I had, feeling top of the heap.
Oh yeah, I agree with completely. That's what it feels like with these consoles now too. You hear reports of pro units now already.
There's no Xbox Pros and PlayStation 5 Pros until they can just look, don't worry about slims and demands until we can actually go to the store and buy it off the shelf. Don't even worry about people.
And we're not even touching the boxes until 2023, if you really think about it. That's when the
and people keep saying the PS5 is sold out everywhere. It is, but guess what? I still haven't seen the Xbox Series X on the shelf. I haven't, and I've been looking, but I got the Halo one coming now. But
that one's cool.
You can't find it.
I know. I'm completely. In fact, you can't even find a pre-order, and I missed it. I'm very upset because I was doing a different show at the time of launch. The Xbox Mini fridge.
Well, the cool thing about that is it's not in short supply.
It's a pre-order.
Yeah, it's not in short supply.
Well, it's $100,
yeah,
and I'm sure you can
yeah.
buy it off eBay for $150.
Well, guess what? You know I've done that before, so
Right.
probably gonna end up happening.
Listen, you can make a phone call and say, "Listen, it's Kate Yeager."
Be like,
Kate Yeager.
Aaron,
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Greenberg, hey, here's the thing. I'm
Right.
Yeah, no, for sure. And actually, by the way, if anybody's we'll see what happens. It is definitely one of the most hotly requested staff gifts ever.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we'll see what happens. It'll be fine. I will deal.
If you do get the mini,
Maybe there'll be
would
a
you
white
get the
variant
big
for
one?
staff. That'd be cool.
I hope. Wouldn't
Oh,
that
that'd
be
be
cool?
cool.
White one? Oh,
Yeah.
go with my chair. I'll just put it right to the side here. That's where I'll keep my,
Would
various.
you get the bigger one for the
the
kitchen?
big one.
Too big.
So I think you're. So I know which one you're talking. Obviously,
Yeah.
I've seen that one. I've done it. It is Blaze, you are not. It is absolutely too big, too big for my kitchen. We have one. Actually, we've got a great studio, a brand new studio for Xbox, which is where Paris and I shot the Gamescom Xbox showcase in August, and we have one in there. And every time you open it, does the it's the Xbox mnemonic sound, but it is massive.
It's massive.
And it's great for Snoop and iJustine. That's awesome. But I think
for Snoop, right? He's a big
Yeah,
Xbox guy, man.
Oh, huge! That guy just
Huge.
loves his. He likes gaming in general. I think he's also one of those guys that has like across the board. But yeah, I'm trying to remember when he had. There was a. Oh, I'm trying to remember. He had an issue.
He's like, I'm gonna switch to PlayStation, Microsoft, if you don't fix these servers or something.
Yes,
like
that's what it was. And I can't remember what game he was playing, but it was something.
Madden
it was like an outage.
something.
Was Madden? You're absolutely right. Yeah, we've had some outages too for Apex that have unfortunately had there's been it sucks. It absolutely sucks when the infrastructure is not. Can't support this bevy of new game. I mean, anytime we've got people like Courage coming on, to play the game, to really bring more eyeballs, which is absolutely on that game. But man, we went through a couple of weeks there, few weeks I should say, when things were not great, and it just sucks because unfortunately the community understandably were frustrated, devs were frustrated, it just didn't seem like there was a solution, and now luckily they've gotten their everything seems to be under control, but you never like to see it. Yeah.
You can call Aaron or Phil and say, look, I got a guy for you, Blaze 4K. Listen, I have no problem. I'll go like this. I'll just put this hat on. I'll shut that.
You're ready to go.
I'm ready to go.
He's got to change. He's got to change everything green.
Your hat. That's all you got to do.
I
I know those you can change the colors back there. I know that. You're good. See, you're ready to rock. You're ready to be an Xbox.
I feel guilty.
Yeah.
Sorry, I feel guilty. No, but I love my Xbox. I love my I can't wait to get my Halo edition. I can't believe. That's why I asked you, do you get anything cool? Because the coolest stuff I've seen from a limited edition console that they sent to the devs, day one devs, they do that type of, I like that stuff that Micro,
And they do such a great job. And there's, and you'll have your name etched on things. But the truth is that I'm a full-time freelancer. And so while there are it gives me the ability to work other places if I need to, you know what I mean? So so there's a trade-off there. I do get a lot of stuff, obviously, because you can't not. And when you're interviewing somebody for the latest ideation of something that's in beta, you do get that stuff and you do get put into that internal ring. But it's a job. What are you gonna do? Sometimes you get stuff, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, you're having a blast.
It's a good job.
I am having a blast.
You're having a blast. That's the one thing I love about you. You have this look. Every show, it doesn't matter what show it is.
Yeah, the chat loves you right now.
You just literally, you be glowing. You be having fun. You're like, hey, welcome to the show. I'm like, hi, Kate. Let's go.
Listen, it totally beats working for a living. It totally beats it.
Oh my God.
It's so. And by the way, with you both, this is something I'm curious about because, like, with us, like with a lot of the people I work with, it's very hard to separate sort of the minutia between like your game life and your work life because they're so intertwined. So it's like your hobby is your work and vice versa. How do you guys deal with like would you say like, first of all, what do you do outside of this awesome the podcasting, the competitive, whatever, what do you do outside of that, and how does that like do you find it like your gaming is like your passion, like this is what I am outside of the place that I am from 9 to 5?
Yeah, that's how I usually interpret the whole thing. Like when it comes to gaming, like I'm always on it. When we're not doing content creation, we're literally I'm always streaming something. If I can't stream it, I'm playing it off off the record type of thing. I'm just going through like I'm a platinum junkie. So Blaze, I have a problem. I have like over 140 platinums. I'm a madman for that type of stuff.
Just okay.
No, it's not like that. It's not like that.
No, but she's, I hate my job, but it pays so well that I hate my job.
Oh, we've all been there. Yeah. Golden handcuffs, man. We've all been there. 100%. Those.
Yeah, 4K... but you're doing stuff. You're working from home. You're doing shows. Like you have industry knowledge. You have industry insiders that you can, So you don't got nobody's like. I can't believe how laid back you are with certain ties like to Microsoft, and you're over here being loose and fun. Like you're not, because we've had other in like years past, like where people were like, hey, I can't talk about this, I can't talk about that. Make sure you don't bring that up because I can't, and you're just completely just free.
I appreciate that, and I think I'll take that, and I think it's I also don't think that anything I've said is unknown or controversial, but I appreciate that because I think one of the reasons why I am full-time freelance, what we call a vendor for Microsoft is that I'm it means that listen, the reality of the situation is that like I will not necessarily, I'm not going to go out and like go out of my way to bite the hand that feeds, and that sounds kind of like whatever, but the thing is I also drank the Kool-Aid, gang. I believe in what we're doing. Like I really like this. I like this stuff. There's hurdles and there's complications but like, man, sometimes it's really easy to talk about my job because like at the end of the day, it's also not like, let's be clear, like it's not brain surgery. You know what I mean? There's controversy, there's hiccups, there's supply chain issues, there's, whatever happens, but it's really nice to be working in gaming. I started out.
That's what I want to at least try to get to. I'm working.
Wait, can you just tell me how you got there? Like, how the hell? Like,
sure.
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
I love this question. No, I'll take this question because this is the one that everybody asks. Everybody asks this question, and for good gosh darn reason. I used to ask this question. So, and I hope this doesn't. So here's what happened. I was working in LA at the E channel. I'm just not great at celebrity gossip. I'm just not. I know this about myself. It happened. It's fine. It was a job. And I got all of my family was up in Seattle, and I got a call from a headhunter, and I couldn't tell you who gave them my name, whatever. But at the time, Xbox Live had launched, but they were still kind of figuring out what kind of platform it was going to be outside of multiplayer. Well, how could we leverage this technology, right, to create entertainment experiences that at the time they were looking at using the Kinect. I know, shudder, it's fine. Either way, I think the Kinect was before its time, but I'll let that one slide. It's fine. But
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
It was like we'll see. Again, I come back to immersive experiences, and anytime I can like.
Remember the Luma Room?
The Lumen Room?
The Luma Room, something like that. They was called.
Yep.
Yeah, a Luma Room for the.
Yep. Yeah.
Bro, the Kinect was great. How many videos I made on the Kinect? Just hit the button and recorded a YouTube video. It was so easy for me. I don't care. Like, I get it though. I
love. You know what I mean? So anyway, long story short, or made longer. Basically, they called me up, and I got a job as one of like 3. I got into Xbox on like a weird small like 4-person team that was looking to do entertainment. Like, I was not in the gaming sphere. We helped launch the UFC app at the time. We helped launch like college NFL Pick'em, like very non-hardcore gamer, which was like the polar opposite, as you both know, of the original Xbox's intentions, right? It's really designed not just for the pro gamer, but like for the pro developer. Like we came to that place and we wanted that have that experience. Anyway, so long story short, I that went for like a year and a half. Nothing we did, by the way, saw the light of day. 0 things, and it was awesome. It was like you were this little elite group of people that got to do whatever they wanted, which I still to this day don't know how we got paid for. But either way, and so then that ended, and I didn't want to come back to LA, to be honest. And I got very lucky. There is a woman named Tina Summerford, and Tina Summerford, if you go way back, she was in the original G4 cast. She launched, I think it was Tech TV and then G4. And she was running she was head of this little thing at the time, which was called Inside Xbox. And that, I don't know if you guys remember, it was like, you go to your dashboard, it literally had its own place. Larry Herb, you guys Mason Nelson fans? Yep, we know. So yeah, that Lair Bear, which I don't think he likes me calling, which is why I do it. So anyway, so the long story short is she was the head of this Inside Xbox thing and said, hey, you can write, you can produce, you can host. Although at the time I hosted one thing for like the UFC app because we needed somebody to be on camera of no other reason, and she saw it and she was like, that is what I want. So I ended up getting a job working at Inside Xbox. I worked there a whole like 4 or 5 months before everybody was canned.
When you got that? Like,
how'd
you
guys,
feel? Like, were you nervous? Like, where you thought you could wing it?
Here's my thing. I will say this. So where a lot of people, and I've got very good friends, a very good friend of mine, Ryan Trite, he green. Like he is like so Xbox, and actually he's like my boss's boss now, which is cool. He's like my boss now. It's great. But my point is that I had growing up we had the original Xbox, but we weren't really allowed to game. Like that wasn't a thing. Our parents were very like, hey, like my dad was a reporter, my mom was a pastor. Like they were very like, we're not gonna bring you into the world of gaming. They didn't know that much about it. I think that was also part of it. So like they didn't grow up with Atari, for example. They didn't subscribe to that. So no, exactly. And so my entrance into gaming happened way later in life, and so that was really, I mean, the stuff that we did with the Xbox Live for that year and a half was a really great eye opener. And then I ended up getting this job, and you're absolutely with Tina, with Larry, who I was writing for, and it was like a deep end of the pool. Figure this out right now, and in the best way possible. And so for me, that's really where the passion started, because all of a sudden I was not just writing for them, but I was researching. I was playing the games. I was, like getting to talk to people who, and you both are a great example of this, but I don't know another community that is as passionate about gaming as gamers. Like I as passionate about their craft as gamers and the people that develop the games. It's just like, it is so much fun to talk to a dev. It's so much fun to talk to a game developer. It's like an engine. Like, I'm sorry, I'm getting verklempt just even thinking about it. So
you
what
pick
that
their
did
mind. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh my gosh! And the thing is that this is something I love that we talk about a lot, or I talk about a lot, but people sometimes forget how much time and energy goes into making every detail of the game, and it's and a lot of, I mean, I'm really talking like AAA titles, like these incredible games, right?
Yeah, we've interviewed a few developers, especially from Bluepoint and Sony Santa Monica, and one particular one was from Bluepoint was Arvin Villapando. He's actually the artist for the he did all the stonework in Demon Souls remake.
Really?
Yeah. Cool. And he actually explained how much time that goes. It's longer than a lot of people really realize.
Well, and
it's
and really, people forget. You're absolutely right. And for example, I think it's great because I get to come from Xbox, where there is the capital to, and I should say, there is the commitment through capital to be able to give these developers, these artists, these graphics, these UX, these people the firepower they need to do their job right. I mean, if you talk about like, even let's talk about Forza for a second, Forza Motorsport. If you I'm a racing game. Oh my gosh, like
it looks great. Yeah,
they go in, and like Horizon is incredible. They literally like Horizon. Any open world is going to be amazing if it's a AAA that's Turn 10 does, or Playground does not do bad stuff.
Playground's
killer.
Dude.
Before we even saw the car, we were all like, "Whoa, this
You're
is
like,
Playground
amazing!"
is one of Microsoft's best developers. That's not even debatable.
You are not wrong at all. Could not agree more. But like, if you talk about like Turn 10 does Forza Motorsport, and if you go in and you talk about, do you know how long it takes to map out like the Nuremberg Ring, for example? Like, they literally shut down the track, and when they can't shut down a track, which sometimes happens, right? You can't shut down one of these harder to get to, whether it's in Milan or those windy, curvy places in Germany. Like, when you can't shut it down, they'll go all night and they will try and get every single aspect of that race, that map. Flight Simulator. To be honest with you, nerdy, I'm a Flight Simulator fan. I think it's because there's so many stressful games out there, which I'm there for it. But Flight Sim like has my heart but what they do is they map so extremely detailed. Like, and not only that, but not just the mapping, but we're talking about the lore. I am such a fan, as you guys know, the campaigns, lores in general. And to have the story arc be so intensely detailed is just something that people sometimes forget. Like, even I'll tell you, I got a little it was funny to hear the reactions to Age of Empires, the Trebuchet mention we had in Gamescom, that show, because I think people forget just how much goes into all this stuff, and we love to showcase it. We like to pull back the curtain and say, literally, we designed this. The developer went to a person who knows, like, intimately familiar with every aspect of that particular historical relevant fact, and they created things, and they did so in a way that allows the gameplay to function authentically, allows the player to know and feel like they're a part of something that was well thought out. And so sometimes we have to showcase that. I think the reaction was unfortunately mixed, but at the end of the day, it goes to show you that some people just don't realize how many minds go into creating something that is truly immersive. And now I feel like I am totally giving you a marketing line, which I totally don't mean to do. I just am so passionate about this, because that's the thing with my job, and the thing that I love the most is that you get to talk to, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way, right? You get to talk to the people, the minds behind something, who are so obsessive about it that they've thought of every detail and are paid to do so. Oh my gosh, it's infectious. Like, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
It's come now, especially for content creators to be able to do this, and that's the beauty of it.
Speaking of Flight Sim, I'm like, I'll try it. I was excited because it looked so goddamn good, even though I put everything in an ultra, and my game was running in molasses mode with a 3090. I'm like, bro, what is going? It's so demanding. But so I work at a college campus right now, so I fly. It took me so long to learn to fly. I flew it so low, and literally, BitCloud. I literally see the football field with the exact same printing, the exact same layout. It was crazy, dude. My work, the parking lots, everything was there perfectly.
This is what I'm talking about. Isn't that crazy? That's absolutely banana bonkers. I actually have a Logitech yoke system that I'm amongst friends. I usually don't tell my friends and family that I have it. Like, that they'll if somebody were to come into usually I took it out for this, but usually you'll come into my desk area and it's right here, like, just ready to go at a moment's notice. And I've gotten, like, our cleaning service will look at me and go, just so that I'm, what is?
Right.
You're that person. Cool. Cool.
Do you use keyboard and mouse when you're playing Apex?
No, I'm a controller. I'm a controller.
Yes, sir. Lady. We got it. There we go. Yes, sir.
We do have. I will say this: ALGS this year, we do have the Pro League. Got some controller players. Got some doing it. Kind of love it.
And they play really well too. Like, because usually you can't compete with a keyboard and mouse. That's not true. That's not true.
No.
They're doing
Well, and I
something like
think
that for
it's
Halo
also- yeah.
now, right? There's a playlist they're doing for that. Keyboard versus controller. Is that something like I heard about?
Oh,
Yeah,
you
was there something?
know, I think that's jogging my memory a bit, but to be
Yeah.
honest, I don't know the specifics.
Yeah, I forgot.
about
It
that
was
one.
something I heard about that they were doing, but I agree.
More
Controllers.
gamers, more console, more let's just do it. Why not?
Absolutely.
Those guys at 343 know what they're doing.
So what's a regular night for Kate? She comes home, she makes her coffee. I'm just assuming you
So-
drink coffee.
I do drink coffee. I love, by the way, that you say I come home and drink coffee. A, because it surmises that I'm drinking coffee late at night, which I'm not.
Right.
But B, it surmises that I come home. Here's my thing, gang. So I live in Malibu. Love this place. We used to live in Seattle, so I know the difference for sure. You know, between sunny and not.
Yeah, I was about
and
to say
so-
between rain and sunlight. Yeah. I was gonna say that.
Exactly. But to be honest, I work remotely, kids. And
Wow.
so I'm kind of never not home, which is kind of deadly when you talk about games because so I've got my system here, which is just this is just a new Mac Mini desktop, but I've also got my Xbox here, one of my Xboxes here. I got another one downstairs on the I think we have a 70-inch, and then on top of that, obviously the Switch is like. There's no one like to, and I feel like I'm going to incriminate myself, but everybody knows. There's no one like looking over my shoulder, so I get stuff done. But gang, it is a chore sometimes to pull myself away when there's like and to be honest with you, there is so much stuff to do. I'm actually part of the distribution and promotion team, so we do a lot with trying to make sure that all gamers all over the world can like whether you're needing some accessibility options or you're needing a different language or it's sort of a different cultural lean or slant, like that's my sort of day-to-day job, I would say. And so there's so much that goes into that people forget. And so that's kind of a major theme in my life, I think. So much that goes in.
So real quick
Okay.
about Inside Xbox, you said it got
Yes,
canned,
please.
right?
So the original thing when you let's see, this would be the 360 days. When you would go to a twist, which is what we call on the dashboard, you go and you see there's a little tile that says Inside Xbox. You click it, and there was an internal team that basically put together things like tips. It was friend Ryan Trite, who needs to do this again. It was called this is Triton True. I don't remember. I know I'm gonna forget this. Anyway, he had a basically a breakdown series, a series where he broke down all of the gameplay mechanics and pro tips and that kind of a thing, and it was awesome. And so we had that series. We had Larry and Tina doing like a weekly series, like a weekly gaming news show, like a bunch of content, right? And then when I got there, like 4 or 5 months later, they did what a lot of people do, which I totally understand, which was decided to take out the internal team, what were full of like full-timers and people that were there to do just that. And they basically outsourced and said, hey, we're going to, do our content third party. We're going to bring in the IGNs, the GameStops, the GameSpots, I should say, the Kotakus, that kind of thing. And then we're going to showcase their content on our stuff instead of, footing the bill to create our own.
Right.
Which again, like outside of it, I get it. Like there's a lot of it's business, right? And so since then, Tina actually, who's so cool, like she and the team have really been building the Inside Xbox, not just as a brand, but also the team that creates original content and original programming for Xbox. So there's so many different aspects. Like we do Xbox Live sessions, where we have celebrities and influencers come and play games together. Like there's like so many of those. I mean, if you ever look at the Xbox YouTube channel, you'll see just so many things. Like we've got influencers talking about every controller they've ever had, like all of these little niches, because Xbox and gaming is a culture, right? And it's a lifestyle for so many of us. And so with that comes all these different possibilities of content that people want to consume. So the original Inside Xbox was a sort of a full-time like part of the twist, and now Inside Xbox is a show that's within a much broader content sort of like umbrella. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
It's confusing.
No, I got you.
There's levels to it. I will say that. Well, there's levels to it.
There are levels. Right. Like so many things.
When we get to these other questions, let me address the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We have some super chats. Let me just read these real quick. Chief Godstaff, he dropped two $2 super chats. The first question he left with it was Bit and Blaze. Just want to show love, stay real. And the other one he said to you, Kate, he says, love the shirt. Shout out to Chief Godstaff.
Chief, good stuff. Yes, like I said, from Seattle. Come by it honestly. There it is.
We got ourselves a new channel member. Shout out to Gamer by Choice, Gold Tier. I appreciate you, my guy. Thank you. Mike Browning, 88, with the $5 super chat. He says, man, who's hyped for the Peppa Pig in 4K at 60? Don't lie. We got our brother Hustle and Motivate with the $2 super chat. He says, this may be the best RGT podcast ever. Shout out to Kate Yeager for making history with us. Thank you.
You know why? It's because people want to hear what you guys have to say, and I like this. I like asking you.
They want to hear what you
have to say. They hear us on the daily.
Yeah, they're sick of us.
Shout out to Gamer by Choice. Shout out to 10. He says, this is a great show, and Kate is an absolutely awesome guest. The look in her eyes and the passion in her voice when she talks about gaming is what gaming is all about. Salute. Salute to you, sir.
Oh, that is... I'm just going to sit here and cry. That's adorable. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Got a $5 super chat. What's up?
Is that Novocaine's one?
Yeah, it's Novocaine. Go ahead.
You read it, and then I'll go right after you. Go ahead.
All right. Shout out to Novocaine, our good friend. He dropped the $5 super chat. He says, Kate Yeager is lovely. Happy as she is on one of my favorite podcasts. He says, fire emojis.
You know what? Now, listen. I'm telling you this because Novocaine is a Apex troll. I can't get him off the game when I want to play something else. He's always... So he's looking at Kate that loves Apex. She's a beautiful lady. On top of that, he's like, wow, this is the best show. You know what I mean? So I see you, Novocaine. That's fun.
I'll take it, Nova.
And the last one comes from Ali. It's a $5 super chat. No message attached. Thank you very much, Ali. Welcome to the show. If you guys haven't hit the like button, go ahead and destroy that like button. We're here with Kate Yeager, man. She's dropping some gems, and we're having a blast here. I'm glad she's having fun, too. It's resonating with her. She's having too much fun. So, what did I say?
No, I'm that's it. Yeah, you nailed it.
All right. Kate, I gotta ask you. You know, we pretty much went through all these. It's funny, we went through all these questions nonchalant. We were just talking, rambling. So instead of me going to these questions, I'll save the bonus round for those for later. Let's get into the gaming topic. And you started off the show really, really well with the console war-esque conversation we had. And so I want to ask you how you feel about this. Now, obviously, Microsoft's going their route with Game Pass, games day and date in the service. A lot of people are kind of torn between that. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people think it devalues the brand, so to speak. You know, you hear that a lot now. You see it on Twitter. But now you see Sony following in the steps of dropping games on PC. And one of the biggest games that's been rumored, especially with Cory Barlog wanting it to be on PC, was God of War. It was confirmed yesterday, if I remember correctly, it was yesterday, that it would be going to PC. So I got to ask you, now that you see, games like God of War on PC, Detroit Become Human on PC, you see Uncharted, which was also just announced on PC. You see, what was it, Horizon on PC. Death Stranding on PC. They got their whole storefront ready on the store. At this point, they're already ready for this stuff. How do you feel about the narrative now that you see God of War on this? And I told people before that this is like, I don't want to say it's a different Sony, right? But it's just business. I just put it like that. It's business. Things change, perspectives change, and things adapt, right? You have to adapt to survive. That's the saying. So I got to ask you, Kate, how do you
COs
feel?
Change.
There you go. COs change. But that's true. But how do you feel about the whole situation now that you see Sony following in the steps? You got a community that's kind of divided. How do you feel?
So it is the question of, it's a overarching question that definitely follows not just gamers, but those of us who work in the industry a lot. I think so. But I think the reality for me is that, and I know this is me talking about Okay, so I'm not gonna censor myself. So the truth is that I think more gamers playing more games is better. More games is better. Like that's just I'm on board with that. There are absolutely business imperatives, and I think you nailed it when you said that like business can and very much does dictate what happens, and it absolutely evolves 100%, right? I think going to the great job. Like I'm here for it. I'm here for the idea of, like I said, more platforms, more time. There may be a time, and like xCloud's a great example of this. Like there may be a time when the hardware itself isn't as necessary as it is currently. Do you know what I mean? Where the IPs, and listen, the IPs are so, we were just even talking about it. Like I literally am considering, or was considering, like I can do it on the PC, but like that option to be able to play it on more than just PS5, the IPs are great, but are they going to be are they so good that they're going to say I have to play this on this, I have to spend $500, $600 to get this thing to play it, and then pay an extra $60 every time? I don't know. So the reality is that I'm more games are better. Like that is my thing completely. And I recognize the fact that me working like freelance or otherwise for a company that makes a console and makes a series and a family of consoles. But I think one of the things that xCloud did, and again, my experience, as you all know, is primarily with Xbox, so everybody knows that. But the truth is that with xCloud, that's for me. That I look at that as like, oh, we're expanding. We're going for more games in more. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So I think it's short-sighted to think that it's going to be only consoles all the time. And the truth is with PCs are, I mean, there's a reason.
It's a little hard to avoid them,
I mean, we had a long conversation earlier about our graphics card and our specs. It's like, it's such a great thing. And the other thing is to that is that I think there's an aspect of you can be a great gamer no matter what platform you're on. You can be your own gamer, whatever platform you're on. But ultimately, having games that aren't that aren't exclusive to a particular piece of hardware just allows more eyeballs on the game, which is always better. I don't know if that answered your question, but I'm more games better.
Yeah, more bigger install base, bigger potential buyers. There you go.
There it is.
That's what you said.
Yeah, Kate, I want to ask you something. So
sure, Ben.
It's gonna dive back into the question we were just on, but Microsoft is on fire with the 360, right? I'm taking you back for a second.
Oh,
and then they move.
Yeah,
if you like 360, what are you talking about? Then they get into the Xbox One, and then this is from my perspective. I look like Microsoft had everything going for them, and then it kind of. It depends how you look at it. You can say they shot themselves in the foot with the whole Connect TV. You don't play in a submarine, whatever. All that crazy debacle, right? And then it's almost like a gift and a curse that things weren't working out traditionally like a console should work out for Xbox, where they went a different direction and said, we're going to offer a Game Pass thing, kind of like a Netflix thing where you can play your games and so it's almost like them not being able to, whatever you want to say, compete or keep the level of IPs coming out at the time because Microsoft didn't have all these. So I'm just saying, it's almost like a good thing that everything happened the way it happened, because now they've shifted, and now you see a lot of people wanting to do these subscriptions. Everything's. I was telling BitCloud. Yeah. Look monthly, BitCloud, Amazon Prime, Hulu, Netflix. Everything's companies are taking money out of your wallet every month. So it's kind of the new way. So it's just I don't know. I feel like it was a good thing that it kind of happened that way,
I think you make an excellent point. I think ultimately the pivot that you have to make because of certain market imperatives. Yeah. And I could not sound more corporate if I tried right there. So apologies.
That was great. That was great.
But there are, at the end of the day, it's business for sure. But that it's a little bit like discovering penicillin, accidentally. And that's the truth, is that you come to a place where you know what you want to do. You want to serve the gamer. You want to create great games, right? Well, you have to find a way around hardware issues. You've got to find a way around cultural issues. You've got to find a way around, the market and the industry that is, coming for this, that, or the other. And the truth is that I think the best way to compete is to pivot. And I think what it is that, like, in that case, could we compete? Could Xbox compete directly with Sony's crazy, amazing list of brand new IP? A lot of people would say no. And that's fair, right?
Yeah, they will be able to now.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And so I think, it's changing up the way you play the game. And I think it's also looking outside of a singular, foe. Outside a singular, and if you come out of that place where where one company is reacting to another who's proactively, like, you know what I mean? If you come from out of that reactive back and forth, and you sort of open your eyes to, like, make sure that the community and the gamer is at the center of everything you do, then that really takes the shackles off having to respond directly to one, like, particular competitive element, and allows you to go, okay, well, let's rethink everything. Let's go there and say, okay, these are the things we have learned. Because, like, again, and I bring back Phil. He does such a great job. Aaron Greenberg as well does such a great job, I think, of owning the pivots that have not necessarily always panned out the way you want. And that's just reality, like PlayStation's had pivots they haven't been able to,
God.
A lot,
oh yeah, right?
Yeah,
like that's the thing. And so it's just a matter of, like, who's going to go next. And so for me, I think that is I think, Ryan, you talked about it, like, the ability to future-proof yourself, I think, is really special. And I think there's also, at the end of the day, and again, this is something that Phil absolutely preaches for very good reason, gamers are at the center of everything that Xbox does. And I know that that's the same with PlayStation. It's just a matter of your approach to it,
Yeah, Sony, like, I tell people, they tread thinly on a lot of things. Like, they do it, but it's like baby steps. Microsoft is like, we're doing the full jump in, you know what I mean? Big step, stomp.
It's like a big ship with a small rudder, and like 100%. But at the same time, like, Microsoft's been called that too, possibly because Xbox is a part of Microsoft, and Microsoft is huge. But and also I think there's something else to realize, is that these pivots have real life implications on not that this is the ultimate whatever, but all the people that are creating all of this stuff. It's got real life implications if it doesn't work, or if it's blue screen to death back in the early 2000s, like these things that really impact not just the business but the human element. Gamers don't like we don't want to wait. Like, it's not even just that we don't want to wait. We want to have that experience because that's what we're here for.
Let me shoot this question towards you, because a lot of people had this fear that like, for example, cloud gaming or Game Pass in general would eliminate the need in general for consoles, and they think consoles would be killed off if we just had Game Pass, and let's say they came out with another alternative to play, like we were saying earlier. Let's say like a not a US, well, an HDMI device, like, like those little Amazon little Fire Stick type of things,
like
you plug in your
stick,
TV.
Yep.
Yeah, let's say they came out with that. A lot of people believe that that's the future down the road if Game Pass or something like that takes over. And I'm sitting there going, consoles will always have a purpose. I don't see consoles ever going away anytime soon. A lot of people really think, though, that consoles are becoming more
eventually
and more
it might be like that, Big Cloud, though.
I
Eventually,
doubt it,
20, but listen, 20 years from now, we can't look at, my internet goes out every day. My internet's not strong. But 20 years from now, you don't know that internet can be way more accessible 20 years from now than it is now. You see how things are moving so fast, Big Cloud. We're talking about a PS4 that jumped to a PS5, like an Xbox One that jumped to a thing. Like, technology is moving at a rate that we can't even keep up with it. So we can't just say that it won't happen.
Yeah, the PlayStation, the newest the PlayStations, from the PS4 to 5, from the Series X to the Series, to
the
where
one
now.
to the
the one in Series. They're basically laptops. They're basically laptops. We're playing on
Microsoft lost
laptops.
the power battle with the Xbox One, and they said, "Look, we're never losing that again." That's what they said, because they said we're gonna make sure we always have because that was the big thing, 1080p, 900p, even though they can't even tell the difference, but that was the big talking point. And they just said, look, we're gonna make sure that our power is sufficient enough where people have more than enough. You know what I mean? And I just think, look, I think it takes some balls, for them to go, because everybody's looking at traditional ways of console. Well, that's not how consoles are. Like Game Pass, what do you talk? Consoles are supposed to be like this way, but like you said, they pivoted and you know what? Some things are gonna work, some things are not. Let's not forget, like PlayStation didn't have a complete huge hack, right?
Yeah.
And millions of credit cards were out there, and their internet being down, and no party chats on PS3.
Yep.
There was so what I'm saying is, like, every company makes mistakes, but they can maneuver through it, and it's okay.
Well, and I love that you said that. Yeah. Well, and here's what I will say. I would challenge you all to start thinking this way, which is that the console itself is a delivery system for IP.
Yes.
And the console, and I keep coming back to this immersive experience, right? That's what you're going for. You're going for the immersive experience of not just the gameplay, but also your ability to connect with your friends and family in the multiplayer sense. So for me, I look at it as like, okay, you're absolutely right. I think 20 years, will consoles look different? Yeah, because I think the hardware component is, the future is bright. Will it look like and function and be this thing? Probably not, because ultimately, the market, we are going to buy whatever immerses us better, whatever the games play on better. And if that is like a cool visor that, like, I don't know, like, actually, how do you guys feel about augment, or about like those like VR headsets and everything like that?
I love VR.
Yeah, I played golf with him with he had the Quest. I had the other
Oculus?
one, the Oculus, and we were playing a golf game there, and I was sitting going, this is really good. It's fun. It's really fun. When we're talking about
the problem
AR,
is it's not accessible, man. It's not accessible yet.
That's true.
Look, my PSVR is awesome, but there's 1,000 cords to it, and it's a pain in the ass to set it up. But the Quest is completely wireless. You just put it on and you're playing. The Quest. Listen, this thing. You don't need a console. You don't need a computer. You just put it on. The hardware is built inside. The games everything pops up. It's crazy, and it's wireless. So I think we're almost there. But I don't have a problem with it. I think they got to get the motion thing correct, where people are not getting sick. But other than that, I think there's a future for it. I don't know if it'll be the mainstay of gaming. I think people want to have something in their hand, and but that thing is awesome.
How do you feel about the controllers for it, Bliss? I know, like, they got the the controllers the way they feel. You can
the PlayStation ones or this one?
No, for the Oculus. Like, how do you feel?
I was gonna say.
Yeah, PlayStation ones.
Yeah, those things are awesome, dude. These things got analog sticks on them, man.
I have.
Love it.
You have them. Yeah, you have them. So like, dude, it's an analog stick.
But I'm saying,
like, you're just.
Do you see a new and improved one, like, down the road? Like, let's say, like, a glove, hypothetically.
PlayStation's next VR system will have. Even this has it now. You can move I can move my fingers, and it tracks every individual finger, and that's just like older tech. Like, Xbox, I'm surprised there's not an update for Xbox where they're like, hey, if you have a Quest or an Index or a, that you'll be able to utilize. I don't see why they couldn't do that. Just let them use third-party headsets.
I would love that.
There was articles about that, right, Kate, where they said that Microsoft was considering, or the Xbox One, I remember, was compatible with the other VR headsets.
I don't see why they can't do that.
Yeah,
I feel like they can.
Remember that.
It's a good question. I think ultimately what probably happened, and I can't obviously speak for them because I'm not a designer or whatever, a developer, but my guesses are what they probably did is prioritize, a bunch of other things, right? So it's like, and to be honest with you, I can't blame them. I can't blame us, I should say, because, like, the Kinect was like I said, I think it was ahead of its time. I think there was absolutely a place for it, and I love more than anything else that Xbox made the investment into that technology. Like, I absolutely love that happened, and that technology, a lot of it is also within. Is also present in HoloLens, right? Which is a augmented reality headset. Yeah. It's crazy. And by the way, so like I obviously work in gaming. Yeah. It's sick. I remember when who was it that was on stage, and all of a sudden we could see through his headset that there's a brand new world that you could just be right. Oh, it was crazy. Yeah. So I was gonna say Sax is, but. So obviously I'm in gaming. I work at Xbox, my 9 to 5, but I also do a lot of Microsoft and tech corporate things. you know, and whether it's like I said, providing writers or you know, just understanding how that landscape works and having hosted other things for them as well. And it's amazing. The HoloLens technology in general, but the HoloLens technology specifically just does such an incredible job of putting you into that place. And not only that, but they like you forget the other applications for all of this stuff. And you know, there's something to be said. Like, would it have been this way if the investment hadn't been made in what was it? Not Nectar. What was it called? Natal, right? Would that have been a thing? I don't know. And so we talk about pivoting. We talk about finding things that were. And so now this whole other area of business that is not necessarily game centric has now been developed based on some of the A&R stuff that was going on. You know, that started in gaming but has ballooned out to other places. That's the thing that I really like about that I like about, you know, our gaming technologies, because they, you know, whether it's PlayStation, Nintendo, or Xbox, I will say a lot of times they do a really good job of trying to sort of go for that, to be always looking for the next great way to immerse gamers, and so many times that's yielded results that expected, and certainly has I think helped the industry as a whole. And that's one of the things I love about the gaming industry. And
Big Cloud, it is a big risk. Like VR will never be taken serious.
Big risk.
Because like I don't think PlayStation VR, even the second one comes out, it'll be cool, but until PlayStation says, "Hey, Naughty Dog, develop a VR game." The problem is PlayStation says, "Hey, Naughty Dog, you need to make our big IPs for traditional console." They're never gonna make Naughty Dog leave what they're doing and make a VR game. They're never gonna do it. Until they do that, VR games will just be these, you know, 10, 20-minute experiences you play for and put down. That's the problem.
Well, let me shoot this at both of y'all. So, yeah, I know it's been thing going around. Like, Sony's been definitely looking and getting more talent. Like, for example, Firesprout, which is Studio Liverpool. They are now a part of PlayStation Studios, and they've joined with Fabric Games. So Sony's making investments in studios to join this. Obviously their PlayStation Studios. Blue Point Games is another one. Do both of you think that we'll probably see like an investment from them, or them buying an acquisition like that for VR specific?
No, I don't want these little itty bitty.
No,
I'm talking about they give them the tools of the trade.
No, Big Cloud.
No.
Listen, I don't care about that. I want Playground Games to make a VR game. Like until that's.
Oh, you was that? You go for there.
I want big developers that are known and they've already been successful with multiple games to make a VR game, because then we can know the full potential of it. The problem is they get these smaller studios to make a VR game. They don't have a lot of experience. They don't have a lot of resources, a lot of financing, and it comes out and it's still a great little game, but it's just never that big console experience that we expect on a VR headset. It's always a toned down experience.
Okay.
There's no AAA VR experience, right? There's no AAA.
Right, like Half-Life Alyx is one of them, but that was incredible. But, and even Microsoft, for them to say, yeah, we're going to do VR right now when they're focusing on Game Pass and so much other stuff, it's just a big investment risk that they, and nobody buys a VR now. Like, hey, we got VR, but nobody bought it, or it wasn't, they lose money on it. So,
okay,
yeah,
all right.
It's a good question. It's interesting. It's fascinating actually, because that's where it's like I keep coming back to this immersive gameplay. That's really what we're looking for in a VR headset. There's no way to be more immersive than that, right? But the reality is that there is a barrier to entry. There's absolutely that, and I hope. I hope it happens. I'm not holding my breath, though.
Oh, okay. All right.
Gotta say that.
There's that question, guess.
Yeah, sorry, Big Cloud. I went on it.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine.
I love it.
I love both.
I hope Playground is listening, because I think it's a great idea.
This is the type of conversation I hope they do listen to. You know what I mean? I hope they listen to these type of conversations. This is too much. Let's read these super chats. Shout out to Neo Wise, the $10 super chat. He says, a potential problem I can see with PlayStation going day and date on PC is if the quality is compromised, and a reason PlayStation Studio Magic is what it is because they only have to focus on one platform at the start. Let me swing that to Kate for a second. Kate, do you think quality control would ever be affected on PlayStation? I mean, granted, this is a platform, they put their best foot forward when it comes to that studios, brand. It's the reason why it says PlayStation Studios. They put their top quality in it. Do you ever think that would be a problem where?
To be honest with you, I don't think they're gonna my gut would say that they're not going to make a commitment like that and not be able to back it up. So I fully understand. I think it's a great question. I think like that's always something we're always, you know, in the lead up to a launch, we're always asking.
Right.
Just because ultimately you don't want to just, you know, your gameplay to stop, you know, your gameplay to be compromised. But I also know that Sony's pretty good at putting their money where their mouth is, and
Yes.
I guess what I'm saying is I'd be shocked if
the
they
quality
didn't account
diminished.
for the quality. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's my guess.
All right. Good point. Let me get back to these other two questions here. Gamer by Choice shot the Gamer by Choice dropped the $5 super chat. Says Xbox has series variants and servers, so consoles will probably still be made as long as they are in demand. Also, exactly. I don't see consoles going away with
That's
the
true.
gaming landscape. And
Not in the near future.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe 20 years. Maybe 20 years. Maybe 30.
Yeah.
I saw somebody say that in the comment. I actually agree with that. Hustle and Motivate with the $2 super chat says Kate is the best guest ever. Shout out to Hustle.
You guys, I have so much. There's so much love in
there's a lot of love.
your chat. There's so much love in this podcast. I'm feeling it.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
Because it's
fire
refreshing
emoji
to
all the way.
get somebody. It's
Yeah.
refreshing to get somebody that's, let's say,
Kate,
corporate
didn't I tell you
with
you
my
was gonna
hands
have
like
fun?
this.
Then
You did tell me.
Didn't I tell you was gonna have fun?
Well, I'll tell you what. I appreciate the opportunity to chat about this stuff, because I think, like I said, it's and I meant what I said, which is like my friends and family, who I love and adore, of course, but like I don't get to talk gaming. I mean, you should hear me on the ALGS broadcast when we're off air. And I'm like, guys, they're all like, whoa, Kate, you're fine. Just pause, breathe, it's cool. I'm like, yeah, but you don't understand. So I come off more measured, I hope, than that when the stream goes live. But this has been really fun, because like I said, it's nerding
awesome,
out is not
Abby.
even the right word. So it's really, really nice to talk to people who also, by the way, I mean, you got your passions, you have your preferred consoles, maybe, I don't know, your preferred games, whatever. But the reality is that we can have, what I love about this podcast too, is we can have a discourse like this.
Yes.
And like, we can challenge and ask the right questions. And at the end of the day, we're also friends. It's all fun.
Yes.
Because it's all games.
Right.
Yeah.
It stays respectful. It stays in
I
the
love it.
confines. And stuff.
Yeah, we seen
love
too
it.
many. Me and him, me and this guy, we seen a lot, didn't we, boys? A lot of people just go for the clout and don't listen. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But
Okay.
move that to the side. We're back to this. It's all about Kate Yeager. It's all about episode 169 with Kate Yeager. And we gonna get back to this. So we do have some more gaming news topics that dropped. Now we just talked about the God of War thing. So let me just throw this one at you, Kate. A well-respected and, very credible individual by the name of Colin Moriarty actually came out and stated that Bloodborne for the PS5, it's going to be a remaster, is in the works, plus a sequel. And the PC port is complete. Now, obviously, with Sony confirming that God of War is going to PC, right, Kate? And you had Jim Ryan confirm a whole slate of games are going to PC. How much credit would you say this leads? I mean, at this point, me personally, Kate, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
I've been talking with Blaze about Bloodborne. That's one of my all-time favorite games on PS4. That game got me into Souls games, and I have been
Really?
addicted to them since. So if that game does go to PC, I'm day one regardless. I don't care where it is. If it's PS5, I'll get it again. PC, I'm gonna buy it. That's my favorite game. One of my favorite games on PlayStations. So I got to ask you, when you see that and you hear that, how do you feel about that? Do you think that's true? And if it is true, in your opinion, do you what's the next game that you potentially? I'm just going you to shoot from the hip there. What's the next potential game you think would drop on PC? Shout out to everybody in the chat. Yeah.
Feel like, by the way, I feel like we're following in that Elder Scrolls, I feel like we're following that tradition right now. And
Okay.
I think, oh man, what is a game that would be to PC? Because
I mean, anything's possible. God of War is on.
God of War.
Yeah,
The door is open,
Yeah,
Kate.
you're absolutely. If God of War is heading there, then the floodgates are open.
That means the main gate's open. Yeah.
That's like before Geodubs and after.
Yes.
Right.
You know,
Yes,
yes.
That's the thing. So
Yes.
to be honest with you, don't know a game. I honestly don't know a game that wouldn't. And the only reason that it wouldn't maybe is if the floodgates are opened enough, if I just can't think of a game that wouldn't be available.
What's bigger than God of War, Big Cloud?
I'll throw right now.
PlayStation. Spider-Man. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Maybe
I
Disney.
think that's
Maybe
the ace
Disney will
card.
allow it.
Yeah, that would be the ace card. What you think,
allow
Kate? Kate? That would be the ace card. Marvel wants more. I'm pretty sure Marvel's hassling Sony. They want more eyes. They want more hands on that Marvel's game.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Sony's like, you know what?
And remember,
let's do this. And Tom Holland is done with his. I think he's done with the MCU, right? With the Marvel deal. So if they're doing that, it makes sense. Unless they're signing a different deal, and this is part of the terms. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we're going with this. This is probably one of the terms. Like, you know what?
Yeah.
We'll sign them back in. We'll tie in your version of Venom into our world, but you got to do something for us. Put Spider-Man on PC. There you go.
Oh my gosh! And remember, it's like when you I love this industry kind of intrigue, but the reality is that when you sign Marvel, that cavalcade of stars, right? That's like multiple games. That's like signing a person who has like, it's like, you know what? It's like signing Daniel Craig before he got Bond.
Yes,
right? It's like,
yes.
As soon as he gets that, he's out to the races. Like you've got 4, 5, 6 renditions. Well, he only did 4, but still, or
4.
5, 4. I can't remember. I just saw the newest one. It was fine. But I'm saying is that you know that it's not just a one-hit wonder. You know that there's that is a nice chunk of change. It's a nice. You're absolutely right about eyeballs. It's a nice, a franchise like that coming on board adds legitimacy, and you nailed it. Like the reality is that people come for these games, right? Yeah. And they come not just because they're gamers, but because they're fans of the franchise. And all of a sudden, we have the MCU, and the fandom from the films, the TV, the whatever, and now the fandom comes into gaming. Like it's like being a fan of Lego, right?
Yeah,
that did a pretty good job jumping into
big time
the console world. Yeah.
So
since
we're on this
but
PC
Big Cloud,
what's up?
Please.
Yeah, about that PC talk. Look, like people say it hurts the brand. It doesn't hurt the brand because the brand makes more money if games are on other platforms. But
you say it hurts the console.
I think it hurts the console. Yeah. But listen, seriously, a lot of my cousins, I got a couple cousins that love Xbox, and the rest of them all like PlayStation. And they tell me I got a PC. Why do I need an Xbox if I can play everything on PC? So I think it does hurt the console. It devalues the console because they don't need to go buy an Xbox anymore, dude.
Now let me shoot this at you. Now you got a good point. That is true. There are people.
And the same thing for the PlayStation.
Yeah. You have a good point. We know people like that. We hang out with a lot of people like that, right, Bush? We know that. But here's the thing: those people are few and far between at this rate. The reason why I say that, a lot of dudes who claim they're gonna jump never jump. They stick to what they're comfortable with, which is consoles. So if they brought the game to PC, I really don't think it would affect them to the point where they're like,
no, you're not understanding, Big Cloud. I'm saying they already own a PC.
I know.
So they don't, and so why would they buy an Xbox? Give them a reason to buy an Xbox when they have every Xbox app they can open up on their PC and play all the games.
Yeah, I hear you.
You get what I'm saying? That's why I say it hurts the console sales maybe for PlayStation and for Microsoft on that aspect, because if everything's day and day on PS5, then why do I need my PS5? I'll just play it on my PC.
Yeah, and this is where I'm gonna shoot this to you, since you brought that up and we're talking about the console, right? Horizon, when it went to PC, sold about 1 million, confirmed, about 1 million. God of War. What are the predictions for this? I gotta ask both of you. What are the predictions? Is this the one?
It's gonna triple that.
Is this the one? Are we looking at 5? Are we looking at another 10? Because they confirmed. Ironically, they sold almost 20 million copies of God of War 2018 when this announcement was made that it was going to PC. They sold 19.5 million copies. So I got to ask y'all, are you expecting those same type of numbers? Are you expecting 5, 6? Is this the one that breaks too? Yeah, it's $50, but you're getting all the bells and whistles. They even said DLSS support. I mean, you're getting all the bells and whistles with this. So
fascinating. I think I will say this. Whether it turns out to be or not, I think that is the play that Sony's making. I think that's the chip they're looking to bet on.
Yeah.
And I will also say that you couldn't have found a better. I mean, No, I don't. It's an award-winning title.
Yeah.
It is like it's not just like, you know, when some titles you're like, oh, it's award-winning, that's amazing. I don't really want to play. You know, like it's
all of them always say that, right?
I know. Yeah.
Right. And listen, they are no joke award-winning. Like it's great, it's awesome. Like I fully understand that. I think that's one of the God of War is one of those games that is
just like the holy grail.
It's like the popular. It's like, yeah. How do you popular and award winning? It's that you see the same thing in films today. You can't be a blockbuster and award winning at the same time. And when you do, when you are that, then it's like an amazing thing, and you win everything. So that's great. And I think that's what they're hoping for. And I think that they put the right horse in that race. And I would, if you said 1 million copies, is that right?
For Horizon,
How many million?
Horizon to like
for Horizon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no, it would not surprise. I mean, I'll say maybe double or triple all that. I'll go that far. I would definitely say that.
Okay, Bliss, same.
Okay.
You think 2 or 3?
Yeah, I think the more people know about games coming to PC, and they start saying, "Oh, Sony just added this game now. They're adding that game, that game." I think it's only every time Sony drops a game. Of course, it depends on the game, but for the majority, like if they're the big Uncharted, I feel like they'll continue to project upwards and sell fine. Look, this is pure profit for PlayStation. Everybody that's bought God of War or wants to play God of War has already played it and bought it. Okay, God of War is $5 on PSN. It's free on the PlayStation. They've already maximized the money. They're not making a single dollar on God of War anymore. So this is pure profit at $50 a pop. They'll do fine. You know, I was just looking at my controller. You know, Kate, because you work for Microsoft, I want to give you guys some credit. Microsoft, when it comes to custom consoles and custom controllers,
oh my gosh, right?
Yeah, the kings.
Microsoft does just a better job. I'm sorry.
There's no complaint.
Hey, and you, by the way, you had Pope on. What was it?
Pope.
Yeah. And you want to talk about somebody who can customize like the best of them. But yeah, I mean, if Xbox has, he does such an incredible job.
You see the God of War one he did for PC?
I have not seen that. No,
he did this crazy God of War Blaze. You guys see it? It's like a red.
I saw it.
And you saw it. It's like a red and white
That's
PC,
incredible,
and it's got like where like the NZXT water cooler. It's got Kratos' face, and it's like red on one side, one night, and it matches it looks so good. Like he did.
It looks so cool.
He's.
But yeah, I agree with you. Incredible. I agree with you. By the way, Pope, out of control talented. He's amazing. He actually made one for me with my little icon on it, which is so cool. Like he didn't have it, just came out of nowhere, and it was one of those. I'm like, it's fine. And then, but yeah, I will say that is the custom console, the custom controllers, like oh man, that is the killer. I love that Xbox has made that investment.
You turn on the console.
That's
my Gears of War one. You turn it on.
Yeah.
And it makes the Gears. I have both. I have the 360 one. I have the red one.
Yeah.
And I got this one. Or is right
here. Is it the ice blue?
Yeah.
Yeah. There. Yes. Oh, that's right. There's Kate, by the way. Love her.
Yeah, that's Kate. That's you. Yeah. But yeah, it's all engraved. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's laser etched. I mean, they do some incredible work, and that console.
And look, and this is cool. Favorites. It's a beautiful console, but guess what?
It's basic. It's basic.
Red with a sticker. It's like,
basic.
Come on, PlayStation.
I love that y'all put custom sounds in yours. I'm surprised Sony didn't even do that.
Custom sounds, dude.
I'm surprised Sony didn't do that. Yeah, I remember the 500 million PS4. It was that blue translucent one. It was translucent. You remember that? Kate?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It had like gold trim. Why isn't that a staple? Why don't we have translucent consoles as a staple for Sony? That would be amazing.
I would love that. I used to have like way back in the 360 days. I used to have like a transparent controller, still like wired and everything, and it was like obviously it was third party accessories or something like that, but it was fun. I miss it.
Move to these last two gaming topics, and we'll move this to this. Kate, so have you seen the GTA reveal for the Trilogy, the remaster?
I have not actually. You mentioned it earlier, and I haven't
seen it.
Not unfortunately, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it. I should have, but I haven't.
What I can do, I could show it on the stream. You want to look at the stream? I could show it on the stream.
Yeah, sure.
Let me see. GTA Trilogy.
Yeah, it looks like a lazy. They did an okay job. I feel like
it looks more like Sims than GTA.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks alright.
All right, you ready, Kate? Can you see it?
Yeah. Can I
Can
see
you see
it?
the show? I mean.
Oh, I can't see the show actually. I think. Wait. Yes, I can.
Let me know when you're ready.
I will appreciate that. Thank you, everybody, for listening, for being so patient with me. I see it.
You see it? All right. Here it is. Peggy 18. Definitely added some, looks more Sims than anything. But it looks good.
Oh wow, you're not wrong. It does look similar, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. But I like the different angles. It looks good in different angles.
You know, though, it's growing on me.
Especially the Vice City one, right? Like Vice City looks
Yeah.
like it deserves to be that, and the GTA 3 looks
Like
fun.
it's you're feeling the throwback. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like it's you know what it is. It doesn't what it looks like just from a purely aesthetic sense. It looks like a decision, not a quality issue. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it looks that's
Yeah.
fascinating.
It's like they have a program. Honestly, what it looks like for all three of those games, they're such massive games that I feel like they have a program that goes over every single texture and skin textures, and it's like a computerized thing, and it just does it for them instead of them going in the I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope so. By the way, because that seems like a behemoth task to take on if it's
It is
human driven. My goodness.
A lot of people want
Rockstar
the
doesn't care.
remakes.
Rockstar doesn't care about making new games. They just care about GTA Online. They don't care about making a new Grand Theft Auto. Okay.
Still haven't saw GTA 6, Kate. I'm still dumbfounded by that.
Well, I mean, there's
Is that a kitty cat?
That a cat?
Oh,
I seen a
yeah. I got
Where
a lot of animals. He's actually his name is Frazier, and he's over there. I got two. We have two French bulldogs who are both asleep. I wish I could show you. They're literally right.
I
off
saw
camera.
one on your bed earlier. He was on your bed.
Oh
earlier.
yeah, she's there.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's my guy Frazier. We've got two cats as well, and he's come say hi, buddy. Oh gosh, yes, this is Frage. So the other two are a little bit more.
They get along just fine.
They do well. So we've got two cats. He gets along better, I think, with the dogs who are both girls than he does with the other boy cat who's older than him. And so yeah, there's a lot of interesting pet relationships in our house these days. So
Okay. All right.
yeah, there it is.
What do you got? Another topic? Because I hate I don't want to take up her time.
Oh no. We have we'll have two more, and that was it.
Okay. I could do two more. That's fair.
So, PlayStation, I'll just get right into the PlayStation State of Play. Got revealed.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be next
week.
Next week. The thing about it, though, it actually... Now, usually I don't believe the leaks. I really don't believe the leaks. But for the while, these leaks have been 100% accurate on a lot of the PlayStation stuff we're going to see. And Sony did say that it was going to be a lot of third-party stuff at this show. Now, according to the leak, we're gonna get some news or probably gameplay for Final Fantasy. We're gonna get Gotham Knights, Golem,
Okay.
Chia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Chia.
Okay.
And Dark Pictures Anthology, something for that. Well, also, yeah.
Golem, I'm excited about. I'm excited about anything that's to do with LOTR. And then what was the other? Her Gotham.
Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knights. That's that
Gotham
co-op.
Knights.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, man, I want to play as Batman, not I wouldn't.
I don't like what they did with Red Hood, the way he looks in this one. I prefer the one from Arkham Knight. I thought he looked.
This looks like a game that they just want to keep you in their universe, grinding for. It's like, man,
it's not a full. You know what it is? It's like it's not a full Marvel. It's not a full Avengers. It's like a mini series on Disney Plus.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Which are still great. Like, listen, I'm here for them. I've watched all of them, but it's not. You're not going to the theater to
Right.
spend.
What's going to take priority, that or your?
Yeah, exactly.
Dying Light 2 or something, or
So, Kate, my last question, and it's got to be Xbox One. Gotta. So,
Okay.
and I saved this for last. Not maliciously, but I had to save it for last. You know, it's a good conversation for her.
Okay.
Halo Infinite won't have, it won't have ray tracing at launch. A lot of people are kind of torn between the fact that not necessarily, I mean, we know it's coming, right? It's going to come eventually.
Yeah.
But the thing is, a lot of people, when we get updates on Halo Infinite, it's kind of like more so stuff that we're not getting at launch. That makes sense. For example, the online co-op. It's not going to be there. Ray tracing, it's not going to be there. And a lot of people want to know, is there really something going on? Now, obviously, I think we're good, right? But they're going about in a different way. We played the online. Actually, Halo is probably in the best state that it's in right now because a lot of people are kind of stale on Battlefield and especially Call of Duty. They're getting a much better reaction in the middle of those two games. So I think they're good. So I have to ask you, what are your thoughts on that? Like, I know a lot of people want Xbox topics too, so I got to throw that in.
No, I'm going to eat this one alive. So go ahead, Kay. I'm going to really get pissed at this one.
So we got to ask you that. How do you feel? What are your thoughts on 343 and, certain things removed and we have to wait till? How do you feel?
So I think that there's a certain level. I think there's a certain level of. I'm sorry if you can. I live on the PC, so
you're
there's.
Fine.
Hopefully, you can't hear those ambulances, and they're not like in my head. But I was gonna say, no, it's great. No, the thing is that I think I would rather have a Halo with some of these things missing at launch and not have Halo launch when it does. And I think that we're also at a place now where people keep forgetting, and while there have been studios that have done this and done this well through COVID, it's still a non-ideal situation, right, to develop games, and the things that they need to do it with are hard and fast. It's like to get a AAA title like this and know for gosh darn certain that there is so much pressure to get it done. See, you're talking to somebody who's like, friends that work 343 and people that are just trying their best, Yeah. And I think so that's going to cloud my answering this question transparently. Right. But the thing is that I also it's more Halo is better than less, and so I'm at the
just say it's not a big deal. It's a first-person shooter. Nobody cares about ray tracing. Everybody's shutting that shit off. Cut it out.
I love that you said that.
Oh my lord!
I think it's like I said, Halo's gonna be there. Like that, we're gonna be able to see, this new ideation and this next in the franchise so highly requested, and then guess what? It's a little bit like DLC. You're gonna be oh cool, so I can
I gotta ask it though.
Great.
But I gotta ask you. You know how the community. Fair. You know how the community is. The community is 1 week, Kate, they're amazing. The other, they're at your throats. They're cut.
Big Cloud. Half of those people complaining about ray tracing have not even played fucking Halo. Excuse my language. I'm so annoyed by this shit. Look, the majority of FPS players are gonna turn that shit off anyway because it's gonna eat up performance. Number one. Number two. You're playing an FPS game online. You're not like, look at that reflection as I shot this guy in the head. Like no one's like that. The ray tracing is cool. The ray tracing is cool for the campaign, maybe, right? The campaign I'm interested in having, but ray tracing on multiplayer, like, look, man, I'm just trying to work with my team, get kills. That's it. Like that's just minor complaints from people that haven't even played Halo or don't care, just trying to stir the pot. Now, if you want to say about co-op not being there at launch, okay, you can be upset about that because co-op is a staple of Halo and it's always been there. But that's a whole different story. We're in a whole different age with COVID, like you said. And I'm not trying to cap for Halo. If my Sony guys see, it's just the truth. It's ray tracing. It's not going to be there at launch, but it is going to get support. That's it. That's all that matters.
Well, and I love that you said that too, Blaze, because the thing is that what we forgetting sometimes is that even the gaming community as a whole is we're very, very passionate as a whole, right?
And sometimes toxic. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Very toxic. I'm a girl who works in gaming. I fully understand that in a way that you both know. So, but my thing is that we also have to remember that the supply and demand, the thirst has never been more
Higher.
prevalent.
Yeah. Yes.
I've never been higher. It is, and to be honest with you, there's an element where it's really hard to quench, not just in general, but like even for a short time. And so I think, you know, I fully understand what they're saying. I love what you said, Blaze, because I think it's a really good place to be. I get the co-op thing as well, but like, I think it's sort of a confluence of events and a nice perfect storm that can sometimes take people's, you know, take people's like online persona and just amplify the voices and, you know.
All right.
More Halo is better.
There you guys go. There's the answer. Guys, there was 2 super chats before these. I don't know who sent them.
Sure.
And I don't even know like where they are because I hit refresh to put them in there, and they're not here anymore. But
I have it if you want. It was about her. It was about Kate.
I have
it
2
was from Suffer So Proud.
No, I got those, but I'm talking about before.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about I got
I don't know.
NeoWise and stuff. Yeah, I don't know where the other 2 went.
Just read the ones you got. That's it.
Yeah. NeoWise with the $10 super chat. Shout out to NeoWise. It's a fun question. If Xbox and PlayStation top dev work together to develop the ultimate AAA video game that's free to play, which devs would you choose and what genre of game? And I'm guessing this is towards you, Kate.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's a big question there.
Oh my gosh. It's like going into a store and saying the sky's the limit. I'm gonna say this is gonna just be, I hasten to say the word fantasy, but like I would love something that's akin to Horizon Zero Dawn. I would love something that is that's,
I love you.
You know,
that's all I gotta say.
You know what I mean? I would love that. I think whatever has an open world, Witcher, you know, like Wild Hunt, like something that allows you to play your way, and you know, whether you're that completionist who's going for the 200 hours on every single accomplishment, or you know, like whatever. I would love someone to take that open world and make it immersive and make the story come to life. And my gosh, that would be amazing if somebody, if there was a Dr. Octavio that came together and brought everybody like. Oh. By the way, who else was excited about that when they saw this Spider-Man trailer? Like, I just, as soon as that claw comes out, I was like,
you know what killed me? When I saw the pumpkin grenade and I heard that laugh, that sinister laugh. I was like, yes, you got me. I'm in. Let's go. Give me the release date. I was, that's what it was. Shout out to Suffer So Proud with the $5 super chat. He says, question for your lovely guests. Any chance of a Microsoft acquisition of Sega? I hear those are rumors all the time.
Oh, I heard that rumor too.
Yeah.
I heard that rumor too,
that
and I immediately went to a couple of my colleagues that work, and I was like,
give him that look, give him that signature look.
Is this a thing? and they were like, we don't know. So here's the truth. The truth is this. So, and this is just from my experience, even working on the team, is Matt Booty is just a ninja, and he'll pop up somewhere and we'll have a new studio. And so like I don't know. I think that would be, I think that's a leak that was created because somebody really wants it to happen, and I fully appreciate that because I do too. But I have my doubts.
Okay. And the last one for the day is from Gamer by Choice. He says, most people would not know if ray tracing is in the game unless they are told. Preach, my guy. Preach. Preach. Let me tell you, man, everybody in the chat, this has been an absolute phenomenal show. This is probably one of my favorite ones, hands down. It was too much fun. I'm a big fan of Kate. The fact that she's here just amplified it. Kate, thank you so much for coming on. I already know you had fun, so I got to ask this question. I got to ask the question. Sure. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much fun you had, and could we possibly see you again down the road on the show?
So I'm gonna say an 11. Because this was a true delight to talk to people who not just know the gaming industry, but also like get the nuances and know the community, but also want to be about passion is passion. And I love that you guys brought that. And also we're totally willing to answer my questions. That was great. For sure, I'd be happy to come on again. For sure, I'd be happy to nerd out on gaming news, latest announcements, and you know, just the little controversies that I think so often take precedent in some of our comment sections and our chats. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what we
You guys
would
are right.
do? Like I don't know if you'd be down for this, but you know, like when Xbox has their events or whatever, it be like their smaller shows. I would love to be able to go, hey Kate, want to come by? Let's talk about this. Like how you feel about the show, this, that, and there. Especially if you're not hosting and you're there, that'd be great. Get your perspective.
I could talk. Yeah, well, let's talk about some stuff. Maybe we could potentially do that around some of these bigger beats. To your point, assuming that I'm not hosting on the stage.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Or at least live. We could also do that.
I like that Kate was super, like, dude, we're asking her questions, and she's like, turns around, like, so, guys, let me, she gets her pen, so let me ask you, you go first, Blaze, Big Cloud, you go, like, she just took over the show. I'm like, all right, who is that?
I'm like, hey, I like that.
I like it.
A natural
It's an
host.
occupational hazard, Blaze. It's an occupational.
No, I know you're used to it. That's what you do. I know you're good at it. No, I had fun too. Listen, I had so much fun, and I honestly, like, because when Big Cloud gets a guest, I'm like, who's the guest? So and so, and I just look at their Twitter, and then I was like, wow, all right, you know, because I never know, but like, you were just the most refreshing guest because you were so laid back and so bright and so. And I know you tried to be as transparent as possible on a lot of the questions. You know, even on the tough ones, you kind of like, oh, you know, but like, I just respect your honesty. I love that you're just so laid back, man. I really do.
That's why I love you on the Xbox shows. I can't
preach that enough.
You just come across so genuine. Just love it.
Humble. That's the other thing. Humble, easy to talk to. Humble.
Thank you.
I like that. Yep.
I appreciate that very much. That is quite literally the best thing I could possibly hear, and you both have made this a really special moment. So thank you so much.
Thank you. To close the show, Hustle and Motivate with the $2. He says, I love the new standard RTG has set today. Shout out to you, Hustle. Shout out to everybody in the chat, everybody who came by. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. Of course, our lovely guest, Kate Yeager, Team Xbox. Everybody.
Make sure you follow her on Twitter. Go check her out.
Hustle, make sure you put that in the chat for everybody. Hustle, let's get that in the chat for Kate. I mean, I know you put it in earlier, but let's go ahead and spam that in the chat for Kate. Make sure you guys follow her, the whole 9 yards, and yeah, I love it. Okay.
You just got another super chat. They won't let you leave.
Get everybody's choice with the 5. He says, RGT, you are not going to be able to top this guest. Kate is an awesome, and she is gorgeous. Wow, great show.
Oh man, God! You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna rewatch this when I have like a bad day, because so far I have been feeling the love in a real way. Thank you, you guys as well. My God, it's so much fun.
For sure.
We love you, Kate. We appreciate you. I'm glad everything. You know, I'm glad you hear your story.
Bro, her time is what I like, dude.
Yeah.
She sat for 2 hours and listened to us run our mouth about PlayStation.
But it went by, and I love that.
Let me be honest. I just looked up and was like.
Holy yeah. What time is it? I gotta go, guys.
We usually go at like an hour and 30. We broke that time today because that's how much fun we had today. But seriously, I love that.
I'm good.
We fed off one another. It's awesome show, awesome conversation, and I love that. So thank you again, Kate, for coming by, opening up, telling us your story, getting us more insight on what happens over there in Xbox. And I can't wait to have you back on the show. To everybody in the chat, we appreciate y'all. Shout out to all the new channel members, everybody who super chatted. I appreciate it. Everybody who came through, hit the like button. Thank you so much. See you guys first thing Monday, as your boy will be back. And we'll be